Yeah, you're going to go see a cat or something? Yeah, or something, yeah.
I've already fed it once, I'll feed it again.
Oh, I figured I could give it to you. Yeah. Well, that's fine, yes. Yeah, the old right. Yeah.
Mary should keep her paper on the black hole paper. Not allowed to touch paper.
Yeah. Oh, it could be because from all the years that Dorothy.
All right, let's go next row up. Here. Over here. I don't know if I can get through. Yeah. I wouldn't know her at
Yeah, it's going to be a long time. I don't know what it's going to look like, anymore. You can't say,
Many names are very easy to be understood.
Yeah.
We're going to come there instead of here? So who's you, Tom? Okay. I'm the flower. I've got the blank.
Come out with 4 appointments.
No. All I need is files because they're going to take each thing because everything's in the one file. Set it up. Wasteland. Maryland. Vancouver Maritime. Card. Next credit cards. Hi, Sunday.
You can make it out. Her name is Princess. Yes. You're looking well.
Yeah, you told me. You just got to spread everything out on the bed and put the
Hey, what's up, y'all? How you doing, sweetie?
Doing good.
Yeah? Haven't seen you in a long time.
Oh yeah, you're about to go over on that chair.
I remember her.
Yeah.
How you been?
Good.
You look good. Huh?
Thanks.
You look good. Yeah.
Still alive.
Well, hey, that's a good thing. I know sometimes it's there and age, you know.
How are you doing?
We're doing good. Everybody's doing good. Lisa's doing well. Still working. Green kids are doing good. Everybody.
Okay. Doing, yeah.
We did our house. We gutted the whole thing inside. Threw it all out. We were going to sell the house and move it. We decided, trying to look around what we could find. So we gutted the entire house all the way to the bare walls, threw all the furniture out, everything. We sold it all the way. We put all new plumbing in the walls.
It's a water.
What we did was, because the pipes kept leaking off so what we did was we had the plumber come and dig a trench on the meter, up and around, all the plumbing was all through the house. So when we did the house, we did all that stuff. Then we refurnished it all. All new appliances, cabinets, baskets, everything. Spent about $100,000. Even a new chair. Took the whole chair.
Yeah, it's got to be.
You have to come over and see it.
Which you did. Just paint it square.
You did the whole thing. You got 2 new dogs. My wife didn't replace me though. Yeah, we lived in the Frog. We finished the Frog first. They finished the Frog first in one bathroom. So we lived in the Frog with 2 dogs, my wife and I in the Frog for almost a year. Let me tell you, really test your marriage. Doing that. 1 TV, 2 dogs, a bed, and a ceiling fan.
How did you take out?
Did all right. We even redid the AC units, everything.
Well, there's a lot of things.
Except the foundation.
I talked about driving it back and dropping off
I figure if we ever sell it, it's a pretty good price. Even the ones that weren't being remodeled are going for almost $400,000.
She said,
Y'all can come over and take a look at it. What's gonna happen when I'm sitting here?
it was like an ocean. It wasn't
I know, but it's not thousands of people.
I don't know how they traveled. They were traveling like the
I remember I used to take Mickey and Michelle to a house and have a tea party.
Thank you everyone for being here to support the family. It's incredible. I know not all the family can be here. That everyone is here to support is really incredible for this. We're going to help escort Dorothy to her final resting place. As we do so, we will pause 7 times along our walk to the grave. We do this as a Jewish ritual, a Jewish tradition, because we are honored to do for Dorothy, for the family. We do it without rushing. We do it with hesitancy and sadness, and so we pause. We pause 7 times along our walk. And that number 7 obviously resonates with us in Judaism because we know that the Torah tells us that it took 7 days to create the world, and humanity was the culmination of those 7 days. And so just as it took 7 days to create the world, it takes those 7 stops as we engage in the opposite, in returning Dorothy to the earth, as we undo this act of creation. You're going to follow just right behind everyone, just right behind.
I think we're good. Gentlemen, if y'all come in a little bit closer.
What's the best way?
I think just in between Solomon and Reuben, and then right over to the right of that center pole.
Really short.
The other side had too many roots and mounds.
I don't know how many more we have that are this close, but next time we'll pull a little further away if we can. Give us a little. I mean, I can do it. It's not bad. But I've had shorter walks, believe it or not.
gentleman will tell you when to lower. So if you'll come forward just a little more. Straight forward. Okay, straight down.
Yoshev beset. Yoshev beseter elyon betzel Shaddai yitlonan Omar ladonai mahachzi umetzurati alei avtach bo ki hu yatzilech mihipach akush midever havot bevrato yasech lach v'tacha kanfav tachset sina v'sochra mito Lo tirami pachad laila michetz yauf yomam midever beofel yahaloch miketev yeshud tzoraim Yipo mitzidcha elef urivava miminecha elecha lo yigash Rak beinecha tahabit v'shiluma rishaim tireh ki ata Adonai mahachsi elyon samta me'onecha Lo tenecha elecha rav v'nega v'lo yikrav be'o alecha Ki milachav yitzavehelach l'shomrecha b'chol derachecha Ha'kafayim yisanucha pentigoch be'evren raglecha Al shachav afeten tidroch tirmos kafir v'tanihin Ki v'chashak v'afletehu Askevehu ki yadashemi.
Square everything up at the grave. What we're going to do is lift the casket up. There are no boards on either side of the grave right there. We'll have to walk along those boards and place them across the other ones that are perpendicular to the grave. And once we're over the grave, we'll have 4 of you to help us with the strap, and we'll give you some instructions to lower the casket into the grave. We'll gentlemen get a good grip. We're going to lift the casket up. Take a few steps forward. Your mind's going to carry up underneath you. Make sure you're standing on these boards where my foot is, please. The board. There. Very careful. Every time. Step on the board, please. Gentlemen, we can set the casket straight down, please. Okay, gentlemen, 4 of you that are going to help lower into the grave, we'll give you some instructions with the strap. We're going to take the strap through the handle. Give us the strap through that handle there. Make sure that you have adequate slack in the rope. You're going to need more than that. Adequate slack. That's not to wrap it around the hand either. So when you're ready and comfortable, we'll all lift together and hold in place while we remove these 2 stabilizer boards.
You good, Bob? Okay.
Oh, excuse me, will you take that strap through the handle, please?
Sorry.
Is it through? Okay, yes, through. Okay, then.
Wait.
Just gonna leave some right here. You got it? Okay. That's right.
Let slack, yep, let slack. Al mekomaha tavo v'shalom. May Devorah bat Avram v'Chava go unto God in peace.
Join the family under the tent.
O God, your ways often mystify us. Yet without you, we would feel cast away in a desolate void. You give us the will to live. You grieve with us and teach us compassion for the suffering. You send your messengers, our friends, who take our hands and walk with us in our sorrow. You lead us from darkness toward the light. We, who are destined to die, revere the God who keeps us alive. Life and death come from you, and the soul returns to you. We live on too in those we love, surviving in their thoughts and in their deeds. God, we live on in your eternal care. We praise you, O truthful judge. We praise you, O compassionate parent. God gave, God took away. Blessed be the name of God. We are all destined to die. We share it with all who ever lived, with all who ever will be. Cry for the dead. Hide not your grief. Do not restrain your mourning, but remember that continuing sorrow is worse than death. When the dead are at rest, let their memory be a source of peace, and be consoled when the soul departs. Death is better than a life of pain, and eternal rest is better than constant sickness. Let us not seek to understand what is too difficult for us, nor search for what is hidden, nor be preoccupied with what is beyond, for we have been shown more than we can comprehend. As a drop of water in the sea, as a grain of sand on the shore, are our few days in eternity. The good things in life last for a short time, but a good reputation endures forever. Yesterday, I was given an incredible gift. As I sat with Howard and Jeff and Mark, they kept referring to a family history that Dorothy had written. I'm truly grateful that they shared a copy with me and allowed me to have it and to read it. As I begin my remarks this morning, as we begin speaking about Dorothy and the legacy that she's left for Howard and the three living generations after her that she was blessed to see, and the many more that we know will follow, I can think of no better way than to open by using her own words. The opening paragraph of this history begins, "Since living in the South, I have come to realize how proud so many are of their people. When asked where you're from, there are only two answers. You're either from here, the Charleston, South Carolina area, or from off, anywhere else. Very often you're asked who your people are, a great source of pride in so many cases. Who are my people? Probably when I'm gone, nobody will know, and maybe won't care. But you should probably know, since they are also your people." Dorothy then begins with her grandparents, and person by person tells us, the reader, who her people were. Toward the end, once Howard joins the family history, his parents and grandparents and family are included too, all among her people. He was the one who was truly her person more than anyone else. Becomes evident as she speaks in the history. Two things become abundantly clear while reading Dorothy's words. The first is that to her very core, family and education mattered more than anything. As she talks about each relative, the love and respect she has for each family member can be felt. Even in the moments where there are gaps in her knowledge of the family history, or the relationship seems peripheral, Dorothy takes time to mention, to talk about, to teach about each person. Throughout her life, this was true about Dorothy. She was an educator, and she always put family first. Dorothy had originally planned on being an educator. She even went to school for it. Though after an initial taste of what it was like to be in the classroom, as when she was a student teacher, that desire of hers waned a little bit. Despite never pursuing or completing her teaching degree, she found other ways to educate. She worked as a substitute teacher. She was a regional director for the American Cancer Society, where she helped to educate the Northeast region about cancer treatment and support. She had started there as a volunteer. As a lifelong dieter, a fact conspicuously missing from the history, by the way, she owned and co-founded a diet food business that predated Weight Watchers, which was aimed at educating people about healthy eating habits. Where she truly shone, though, was in educating her family and being a part of their education. As a recovering English teacher, we'll call it, you can be sure that when it came time for her boys to begin writing essays in elementary school, the grammar and structure of their papers was unlike anything their fourth grade teacher had ever seen before. She was a mother who was involved in their education, who taught them not just about academic subjects, but about life as well, about pursuing your passions, about resilience, being able to reinvent yourself, about the importance of Jewish community, holidays, and life. For as much as she loved those who were closest to her, her sister, her sons, for as proud as she was of her family and her upbringing in Ellenville, New York, there was one who stood out: Howard. They met when he was 16. She was four and some years older, while working at the Nevele Hotel. Though Howard soon joined the Navy and was deployed, they maintained their relationship, marrying on October 24th in 1962, her mother's birthday, and a few days earlier than they had planned because the Cuban Missile Crisis had been declared, or had begun, and Howard was unexpectedly being deployed again. There was no time to get a photographer, and the cake had originally been the one they had ordered for Dorothy's mother's birthday. Someone simply went and bought a bride and groom cake topper and stuck it on. Once Howard was discharged from the Navy, the family of four moved to New Jersey, where they made their home for the next 32 years. And Dorothy made sure it was a beautiful home to live in. Together, they raised two wonderful and successful sons. They weren't rich, but they made sure their children wanted for nothing. Together, they supported one another, cared for, and loved one another for nearly 60 years of marriage. That love and care is truly unheard of today, especially the dedication these last few years as Dorothy became sicker and sicker. Never did we hear any complaints, just love, just them. The second thing that Dorothy's opening paragraph crystallizes is, in a way, how wrong she was. The line so poignant and powerful today is when she wrote, "Who are my people? Probably when I'm gone, no one will know and maybe won't care." While yes, the people she writes about, her family, are part of the answer to that question, the truth is that having known her, having been part of her life and the life of her family, everyone who's here today in person on the live stream, everyone who isn't here but knew her, is now one of her people. And today, when she is gone, we are still here to learn from her, to care, to carry on her name and her legacy. Dorothy concludes the history with the line, "Carry on and remember your people and where you came from." Today, Dorothy, your family, your sister, your husband, your children, your grandchildren, and your great-grandchildren will carry on your memory and your legacy. Today and forever, more you are as much as one of ours as we are one of yours. May the memory of Dvorah bat Avram v'Chaya forever be a blessing. Amen. I'd like to call on her sons to speak. Jeff will be speaking first.
Thank you. That was beautiful. First, thank you all for coming and being here today. Mom was amazing. She was so smart and so accomplished. She exemplified lead, follow, or get out of the way. She played field hockey, and I feel for the players who got in her way. Mom was passionate about community service. She served in Hadassah and Ort, eventually as president of both. She volunteered in sisterhood, hospice, and here in her adopted home of Charleston at the Hope Lodge. Somehow she started and ran a business, and if I repeat some of the rabbi's words, then we're just driving a lot of points home. She loved the American Cancer Society, eventually retiring as a regional director. We just learned from Dad that she was also a literacy volunteer in a local school here, and that serves to tell us she didn't brag about any of this stuff. At the time, I didn't know half of this stuff. She didn't brag, she just did. For all those accomplishments outside the home, that's not the first thing I'll remember about Mom. Foremost, she was a wife and a mom. At first, a single mom who struggled in a difficult circumstance. Then she met a great young man at the Nevele, and they began a 59-and-a-half-year marriage that was a shining example for Mark and I, and for everyone that knew them, really. And what a mom she was. I wish for you all wonderful thoughts and memories of your moms. Here are a few of mine. I was an early reader because Mom read with me constantly. When I came home from 4th grade, needing to do a report on Christopher Columbus, this is the story the rabbi was I was saying yesterday, she taught me how to do that. And later, of course, how to do research and do bigger papers. Then later repeated the whole process for Mark. I will close with a typical afternoon of coming home from school, and Mom would first make sure I did my homework, or at least enough of it to go out and play in the neighborhood, while she prepared dinner. And when dinner was prepared, she would come out on the front steps, and she would yell. And I learned how far away I could be and still hear her. And it won't surprise you to know that it was quite far. And I better come home too. Mom was amazing. She was loved. She was loving and beloved. She will be greatly honored and greatly missed. Thank you very much.
I too want to thank you all for joining us today. Hard to improve upon Jeff's words, but I'll give you a few thoughts. Mom was a leader. She led by example. She was always in front, making a difference, teaching us life's lessons through her deeds and her actions, always her actions. There was always a cause, always a mission, always a purpose. We learned compassion, we learned empathy, and we learned kindness through my mom. She was super smart. She was caring, fearless, and we've all seen her work a room, and that was pure magic. Then somewhere along the line, Mom gave you the lead. She was your biggest supporter, and she led by following. She trusted you to succeed, and you never wanted to let her down. We all ended up wiser, stronger, and more independent with this responsibility, and her sometimes not so gentle push. I don't know if she devised this master plan or if it just came naturally to her, but it certainly worked, and we are so grateful. Mom was one of a kind, simply the best. She made the world a better place and made us all better people. We will miss her dearly. Thank you all for being here.
One of the pieces that I left out of my words, I'm adding this right now, was I actually sent the first 2 paragraphs of the history to my family, because you talked about your mother's humor and you know, her attitude and how sometimes it could be a little abrasive, you said, but you knew where she stood. Well, I thought that first paragraph was so profound and perfect for this day. It's actually the I hope everyone has a chance to read this history. It's fantastic. The last line of the second paragraph was the absolute best, because I think it encapsulated everything the 3 of you were saying yesterday, which is she talks about who she'll be speaking about, and she concludes, if I've forgotten anyone, it was probably deliberate. I couldn't get over all night. I couldn't get over it. It was
Classic.
We rise for the El Maleh Rachamim prayer, the prayer that helps escort Dorothy's soul from this world into the next. El Maleh Rachamim shochen baromim hamitzeh menucha nechona tacha kanfei hashchina b'ma'alot kedoshim etorim kazoraki amazirim et nishmat Devora bat Avram v'chaya shelcha le'olama began eden tia menuchata Ana barachamim hasti reha beseter kanfecha leolamim utzror bitzror hachamen ishmata Adonai unachalata v'tanuach b'shalom amishkava v'nomar Amen. Exalted, compassionate God, grant infinite rest in your sheltering presence among the holy and pure to the soul of Devora bat Avram v'chaya, to Dorothy, who has gone to her eternal home. Merciful One, we ask that our loved one find perfect peace in your eternal embrace. May her soul be bound up in the bond of life. May she rest in peace. And let us say, Amen. May be seated. One of the central acts that we have in a Jewish funeral is to physically return the person we loved to the earth from whence they came. And we'll take that opportunity now to perform this great act of chesed, this great act of kindness. We're taught that while there's no mitzvah, no commandment in Judaism that is better than another, there are a few that stand out, because the person that you are performing that mitzvah for, that act of kindness and honor, can't be repaid in kind, that that person can never say thank you. And this moment stands out, that we can take care of Dorothy and help return her to the earth. And it's something that is deeply kind and compassionate, but something that she can never say thank you to us for doing so respectfully. And so I'll call the family forward first. First Howard, the boys, and Cecile, the rest of the family, and then anyone else who would like to participate in this act to place a few shovelfuls of earth into the grave. Just as we paused on our walk over here because we were hesitant to be here, to do this, so too in this moment, for at least one of the shovelfuls, we use the back of the shovel. Again, to show that this is a hard act to do, for as kind as it is, that it's still hard, that it throws us off balance and off kilter, just as our world feels today. So I'll call the four of you forward first, followed by the rest of the family. For the sister. Also the little, if that's easier than the big. No? anyone else who would like to perform this act of kindness, this mitzvah, we invite you to come forward now. You can make 2 lines for, there's 2 shovels you can make lines on either side.
You know, for my own wife, I never did this. I don't know.
Bruno was there, his mom, and the neighbor. Saw her and come. She was laughing though. You just made her laugh. I think she was talking about it the other day. One of the fine
Thank you.
I don't think I've ever flown one until the sky. I belong there. I belong there. I grew up in Poughkeepsie and considered it a temple. So,
a long time, yeah.
my mom thinks like there's no one around.
I had already seen it. Good way to see it. Talked to the but you know, you always have like this event and that. 25 years since
The last ritual that we have is the opportunity, so people can hear me online, is the opportunity to say the mourner's Kaddish for the first time. And so I'll invite everyone to rise. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei rabbah be'alma divra kirutei v'yamlich malchutei v'chayechon uvyomechon uvchayei dechol beit Yisrael ba'agala u'izman kari v'imru amen. Yehi Shmei Rabba Mevorach Leolam Umei Almaya. Yitbarach Vishtabach Vitpa'ar Vitromam Vitnaseh. Vitadar Vitale Vitalal Shmei Kudasha Brichu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tush bechata v'nechamata, da'amiran ba'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shamaya, v'chaim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. We're seated. Just to make sure everyone knows is that the family will be observing the first 2 nights of Shiva at Dorothy and Howard's home on Forest Glen Drive between 4 and 7. If you would like to visit, and we'll be having Minyan there at 5:30 tonight and tomorrow. Just as we helped escort Dorothy to this place, so too we'll help escort the family away from this moment. And so for all of the friends, I'll ask the family to remain seated in the front row, but if the friends and everyone else can make 2 columns headed back towards the entrance of the cemetery that the family will walk through, so that as they walk away, no matter which way they look, they'll see the love and the support of their friends and those who love Dorothy as they walk. You guys can stand up. We're just going to walk over. Just don't want you to walk away. Hold on, wait for the boys, wait for the boys. As they walk between us, we grant them, we greet them with the words that we greet all mourners. Hamakom yinachem etchem betoch shar avlei Tzion v'Yerushalayim. May God grant you comfort among all mourners of Zion in Jerusalem. Hamakom yinachem etchem betoch shar avlei Tzion v'Yerushalayim. Hamakom yinachem etchem betoch shar avlei Tzion v'Yerushalayim. Hamakom yinachem etchem betoch shar avlei Tzion v'Yerushalayim. Hamakom yinachem etchem. Hamakom yinachem etchem betoch shar avlei Tzion v'Yerushalayim. Thank you, everyone. Hoping to see you at Howard and Dorothy's home at between 4 and 7 this evening. Thank you for being here to support them and to remember Dorothy. Thank you.